Games journos are big mad at the success of Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2. Like, as of right now, and I got the Steam charts pulled up, like, this thing it's killing it. I didn't realize that it was that popular. I knew a bunch of people were playing it, but I didn't realize that it just about hit 250,000 concurrent players on Steam, and over the past 24 hours, over 100,000 people, 70,000 people playing it right now. Like, it's a big deal. Okay, and just recently with a video that I released, I think that was Tuesday or something like that. Regardless, it talked about how Matt Koch, the CEO of Saber Interactive, who used to be the COO over at Embracer Group, how he was comparing and contrasting how they created Space Marine over at Saber compared to how the IP was being shepherded over at Embracer Group, and he had a couple of things to say, and he laid it out quite eloquently in the comment section of all places of an Asmongold video. And well, games journos are trying to attack Matt because obviously, and then they're also going after Asmongold, and he's been on quite a run recently. And he's really taken it to the games industry, and I love to see it. And like I said before, when it comes to the talking heads that are out there, he's one of the very few. Like, you're not going to get a firm stance on anything from the likes of stupid-ass Moist Critical. Okay, Hassan, even if he did have something poignant to say, you'd have to play it on 3 times speed before you fall asleep by the end of a 15-second clip when he says about 3 consecutive words. The guy's a dope. Meanwhile, you have the flip reverse of that with Destiny, and if you can just go ahead and wade through all of the Coomerism and the cuckness, and perhaps slow that down a little bit so that you can make some sense of the incoherent ADHD, Ritalin rattled ranting, you're just going to end up with nothing of substance to begin with. But at least with Asmongold, you'll get the most of common sense of takes. Strange. Every once in a while he'll go off on a screed, but in general, I think he's decent. I think he's very decent, but he's, yes, of course, in the crosshairs of the likes of, Kotaku. There's somebody else other than Alyssa Mercante who's actually employed by that hack outlet? Interesting. Kotaku is leading the witch hunt into Saber Interactive for daring to make a non-woke game that focuses on entertainment over message. Saber says, yeah, basically, yo, Kotaku? You guys are still open? Yo, man, go pound sand, okay? Like, we got games to ship. We've got a community to foster. We have ideologues like you to go ahead and gatekeep out of our games, because the ones that you guys are out there trying to tout and say that, oh, guys, don't worry about all of those other bombs that we've pushed throughout this year. Okay, we've got one more. We've got actually a couple more left in the chamber. So if you're totally fatigued by Ubisoft and you're not entirely convinced with their revisionist history over in Japan with Assassin's Creed Shadows, boy, do we have a follow-up for you. Okay, take our word for it. Dragon Age the Veilguard, that's going to be the one. That's going to be the one to really drive home enthusiasm. Oh, but in actuality, yeah, it really isn't. By every conceivable metric, by the way, physical and digital sales, it has failed to crack, at least on Steam, where this is definitely going to have the biggest slice of the digital pie, at least on PC, has failed to crack the top 100. And then, retail pre-order sales, they're rivaling that of Star Wars Outlaws, which, that's not good. A new rumor claims that Dragon Age the Veilguard retail sales are piss poor. That's we've seen a lot of descriptors this year in regards to game sales, but piss poor? I haven't seen that one yet. In the wake of the newly released hands-on preview trailer that was panned by gamers, and that's the one that we just recently went over, and boy, it really sucks. YouTuber Dr. Disaster shared I have an acquaintance in the retail world, someone who runs 9 stores that sells video games, and I'm hearing that those ratios that they're seeing in damn near every video released for Dragon Age the Veilguard, these ratios are correlating with piss poor pre-sales data. People are not connecting with Veilguard because Dragon Age games are supposed to be dark and gritty, and this just looks completely soft. Yeah, it looks like a high fantasy game that ended up getting taken advantage of in the prison laundry room by Fortnite. Everything about the presentation looks completely off. Like the characters, well, if you can just get past the wonky eyes on some of them, or the shorn back and sides of some of the, elf like creatures, and it's so nice that, hey, Thorin from the Hobbit movies could find new work, but I don't know what's with the squat target middle manager in the background there, like what's her deal? But frankly, I don't care, man. Like, none of these characters inspire me to plop down any amount of money for this game. Like, this looks like trash. absolute trash. And that's the thing, right? Like, I hopped off the gaming bandwagon for a while, and I've talked about this before, so I'll keep it brief, but Mass Effect Andromeda, like, I'm a big fan of the trilogy, and then when that one was announced, it's like, oh, a continuation. Actually, it's going to be a new story set in the same galaxy. All right, cool. Go back for a visit, and it's like, oh, all of your new squad mates, oh, they all suck. All of the designs are terrible, and the personalities are millennial quippy crap, like the Quarian that's on your team. The Liara counterpart. Oh my god, she was just so awful. And I was holding out for the Bib Fortuna cat crossover. I was really holding out hope that would be an interesting character. It had the most interesting design until I heard he had a lisp and he was kind of acting a little bit wafy, and it's like, oh my god, I quit this game. The moment that you got to his planet and it was all just kind of dreary rainforesty, you know, it's just like, I'm done. I'm not just done with this game, I'm just done with games in general, because I could see the way that they were going, and well, at least now we're coming out the other side of this, because this game, oh, it's gonna flop, and I'm very thankful, because I want games like this, just not this. The concept is great. The gameplay used to be fun. It's just now it's just been so dumbed down to appease the Kotaku types to their mythical modern audience. Seemingly screams incredibly loud into the void of social media, but never ever turns up at the cash register. It's very strange why you continue to go back and talk about them, and try to appease them. But anyways, Craig Skistimus, old stuttering Craig, okay, who owns and hosts the Side Scrollers podcast, informed that Park Place that his retail source, who, yeah, he was also talking about, pre-orders for Outlaws and Shadows. Pre-orders for the Veilguard are not Astrobot numbers. Yeah, and here's the thing. Seen gameplay for Shadows. Seen gameplay of Outlaws. Seen gameplay of Astrobot, and I can tell you that one of those three actually looks fun, and one of them is actually a hit. I'll allow you to go ahead and deduce on your own. As of this morning, the deluxe edition of the game was 14th on the PlayStation Store for pre-orders, while the base game was 20th. That's kind of crazy. Just barely ahead of Assassin's Creed Ultimate. Oof. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. And yeah, that's the deluxe edition at $90. Okay, yeah, and then Veilguard is down there behind a few other games as well. Isn't the Mortal Kombat expansion pass out now? Oh my god, I legitimately don't care. Looks like such crap. But yeah, over on Steam, yeah, here's where it ends up looking even worse, because yeah, you can go ahead and say, physical sales are dead. That's just one platform. That's just a couple of people with anonymous sources. But here's where the tangible numbers are. Over on Steam, the Veilguard is currently the 42nd most wishlisted game according to SteamDB's most wishlisted upcoming Steam games. Yeah, behind Arc Raiders, Mouse, Gothic 1 remake, Operation Lovecraft, and oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3's remake. A bunch of those don't even have release dates. But hey, it's doing better than Blops. I guess that's something, I guess. But as noted by Dr. Disaster, this information comes in the wake of the hands-on preview of Dragon Age of Veilguard uploaded to IGN's YouTube and on their channel, and it looks like trash. It looks like such dumbed down, Souls-like wait-and-slash particle effects bullshit. But yeah, over on YouTube, it has 321,000 views for for IGN. I think they have over how many million followers? It's crazy. It also has 17,000 dislikes and 11,000 likes. So, it's getting ratioed too. I wouldn't imagine that, yeah. IGN has 18.4 million followers? 18.4 million subs on YouTube. 321,000 views. And they get exclusive first hands. Oh my god. As of note, Asmongold roasting the aforementioned IGN video has over 725,000 views. Yeah, and has over 22,000 likes with just 836 dislikes. Because, yeah, one of these things is not like the other, right? We have somebody being authentic and another one doing anything that they can to grab their ankles for access. Wow, man. That's... yeah. What do I make of the pre-order sales being piss poor? I believe it, and I'll be incredibly interested to see what the numbers look like at Halloween on release. I don't think it's going to be good. It's like there's so many things working against this game. Like if they came out and it was decent, hell, if they just came out and it was generic, that would be one thing. Then you'd just be simply dealing with the problems that plague modern Western gaming. Okay, the script probably going to be trash. The story's going to make little to no sense. You could have had repurposed and recycled gameplay. Hell, it made a lot of The Last of Us apologists say that, oh god, that game's fantastic. Oh, the gameplay might not be good, but at least all the story's fantastic. Outside of the shock of the first time through, does anybody really think that The Last of Us actually holds up? Because that was out-of-date, Uncharted gameplay back when that game first dropped at the tail end of the PS3 generation, and what I seen in The Last of Us 2 hadn't really evolved all that much. But speaking of that in the context of Dragon Age, it just looks like shinier Inquisition, just barely. And you're just about at, what, the 10-year mark between releases in that franchise, and you've done very little to update the gameplay. Like, this has failed by all conceivable metrics in regards to every piece of pre-release material that you're putting out there. And this is also coming from a studio that's somehow finding itself in a more dire situation than Ubisoft of all places. It really is going to be that final nail in the coffin of the once great Bioware, and at this point in time, I would cry with the closure of one of my favorite studios, but it's not Bioware anymore. I'm a man. I'm 34. I don't cry over video games anymore. Unless, of course, it's two men battling to the death with their gun arms in a desolate scrap heap, comparing and contrasting how their lives went in different directions. But that's besides the point. And with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.